Phins for the win again, and again. All right, and welcome back to Finn's Football Podcast. This is B Trill, and this is our Week 17 recap. If this is your first time, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't already, go ahead and give me some thumbs up. So let's go ahead and recap what happened with this big win. So it is Victory Monday, at least one more time this season. So we did get a dominating win on the road against the Cleveland Browns. So that does make the Miami Dolphins 8-8. We are in the hunt and keeping it going, and we got a lot of help this week. So big things are happening. I am excited. I am ready to go. Hopefully, playoff bound. With that, first, let's go ahead and recap everything that's been going on. So, we get the big win on Sunday, yesterday against the Browns. It did come at 20-3. We took the dominating win. So, Miami, man, we're getting ready for the playoffs. We did see that the Broncos did end up losing. So we now just need them to lose against the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk a little bit about the future and everything that's going on. But first, let's go ahead and start breaking down what we saw yesterday. Week 17 against the Cleveland Browns. Miami took the victory, and it was all in the hands of Tyler Snoop Huntley. So Snoop, he was called in pretty much last minute. Tua was a game time decision. He didn't get ruled out until the inactives came out. He was looking doubtful. Tyler Huntley did get a lot of reps during practice. We just didn't know if Tua was going to play. The same thing with Waddle. We didn't know if Waddle was going to play. With that, we ended up getting Snoop Huntley and a healthy dose of Tyreek Hill and some Malik Washington. So we'll go over everything, exactly what happened. Jonnu Smith came into play and always shows up like he does. So first, let's go over some stats. We'll go over some recaps. We'll talk about some injuries, and we'll talk about some other Dolphin news. Of course, the playoffs, and if we have time, I'll go over some snap count, and we'll take a look at the draft order. So, first thing is, let's see what Tyler Huntley did. First thing is, he played phenomenal. He had a rushing touchdown. He had a passing touchdown. He was just doing everything that he needed to do to get that W. So with that W, his stats were 22 for 26, 225 yards, passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. So with that, he completed over 80% of his passes. I think it was like 83.6 or 86.3, one of those. But he was up there to almost a perfect game. So he had four incompletions, I'm sorry. So a couple of those I think were throwaways, and I think one was a drop. But his passer rating was a 115.5. So I say yes. He needs to be re-signed as our backup quarterback moving forward. It is already said that he is preparing to possibly start against the Jets. So he's getting a lot more practice reps as of right now. I'm hoping Tua can play, but if he's not 100% and we have a chance to make the playoffs, let's rest him for the playoffs. Snoop Huntley did phenomenal. Not only did he pass, but he also ran. Snoop Huntley had 52 yards rushing. So he is our leading rusher and obviously our leading passer. But he had 7 carries, 52 yards, 18 was his long. And his rushes came at crucial moments when we needed him to do it. It was third and longs, it was third and shorts, it was when the pocket was collapsing, it was late in the game, it was a 13-yard touchdown run. Um, so Snoop is phenomenal. He is great. I'm not saying he's better than Tua, but with Tua's injury history, let's keep Snoop for the long run. So Devon Chan, he only had 10 carries, 25 yards, 2.5 average. Not good, especially when 9 was his long. So that means he had 9 carries for a whole 15 yards. That's not good at all. We need to open up the lanes. Robert Jones, can we get rid of him? He was just missing blocks left and right, whether it was in the passing game, whether it was in the rushing game or running game. He just whiff, 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 whiff. Um, yeah, we'll talk about the offensive line. Jeff Wilson, he actually had 3 carries, 5 yards, 1.7 average. Raheem Mostert, 6 carries for 3 yards, zero point 0.5 average. His longest carry, 8 yards. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 carries, 3 yards. So Malik Washington, 1 carry, negative 11 yards. So we got blown up in the backfield with a couple of those, especially the Raheem Mostert plays as well as the Malik Washington play. But our running game wasn't there, unless it was Snoop who was running the ball. So Tyreek Hill had a game. He did go over 100, did not get a touchdown, but he had 9 targets, 9 catches, 105, 25 was his long. So Tyreek Hill stepped up. Of course, no Jalen Waddle, so it kind of had to be a Tyreek Hill show. Malik Washington had 5 targets, 4 catches, 41 yards, 10.3 average. So, sorry, this is a little high. I feel like it's a little high. Jonnu Smith, 4 targets, 3 catches, 26 yards, and breaks the franchise record for touchdowns for a tight end in a season. So he got the 1 passing touchdown from Snoop. Snoop got the other touchdown with the run. But Jonnu Smith, what an addition this season. We needed him. We needed a tight end for a long time that can do what he does. Gesicki was decent for a while, but before Gesicki, who was it? Wasn't Anthony Fasano, maybe Randy McMichael. But it's been a very, 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 very long time since we could have a productive tight end, which is why he hit the trifecta. Most catches, most yards, most touchdowns in a season for a tight end. So congratulations, Jonnu Smith. So River Craycraft had 1 catch, 1 target, 16 yards. Raheem Mostert, 2 targets, 2 catches, 16 yards. Javon Achan, 2 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. D. Eskridge, 1 target, 1 catch, 8 yards. Not much outside of the top 3. So Jonnu, Malik, and Tyreek, those were the 3 that were pretty much our only pass catchers. All the rest were just dump offs. Sanders, big note for him. So he actually is 25 field goals in a row, 9 consecutive over 50 yards. He was 2 for 2 with a 54-yard field goal. So hats off to him. He had a couple struggles early on in the season, but he is playing at the top of his game right now, hitting 25 field goals in a row. So good job, Jason Sanders. Keep it up. Punt returns and nothing special there, but defense. Ty Dodd, as they called him. Tyrell Dodson, 15 tackles and that interception. So that is his second interception in very, very, very little playing time. He's a tackling machine. He is a ball hawk. People say he's trash. I don't know. I think he was playing phenomenal. I think he might have to start. The thing is, he probably will have to start because Anthony Walker, who was out against the Browns, is most likely going to be out against the Jets. Mike McDaniel did kind of already confirm that. So we're looking at Anthony Walker missing as well as possibly, maybe not Jalen Waddle. He did say he's optimistic, so I'm hoping Jalen Waddle can play on Sunday against the Jets. Again, we need everybody to pretty much get this W and hopefully keep our playoff hopes alive. Before I dive into the rest of the injury stuff, our defensive line is just playing great. Our offensive line is trash. Agba, he had another sack. Chop is just always causing pressures. He didn't get a sack, but Campbell did have a tackle for loss. Brooks had a tackle for loss. But Dotson, again, he just played out of his mind. Bunch of pass deflections. Ramsey had that big one. I think it was like fourth down or third down. It was a big one that Ramsey had, as well as Storm Duck had a pass deflection. Poyer did. Cater Kohu. Holland. It's weird it doesn't say pass deflection. He dropped like at least 2 picks. On the same drive, I think it was. He almost had 2 picks. So Holland, he's getting to the ball, but he's not getting the interceptions. The forced fumble was Agba. I think it was Hand. Hand got his hand on it. I remember he did say that. So I mean, we overall had what? 280 yards, 206 passing, 74 rushing. And again, that rushing and the passing was pretty much Tyler Huntley. So it was Devon Achane that got us to win last week. Now Huntley got us to win this week. So big hats off to Snoop Huntley. Again, he needs to be our backup moving forward. As a starter, who knows? Again, he's a stopgap, but I don't want him to take over for Tua, but he might have to on Sunday. With that, I guess I can go into some injuries. So, yes. Tua might not be playing. He might have that hip injury. So I originally thought the hip injury was the same thing kind of from Alabama when he had that dislocated hip. Again, this is from 2 games ago when he dove head first and he was sandwiched and he got hit. And I thought right there is dislocated again. Tua got up, continued to play, and I'm pretty sure he played the next game, if I'm mistaken. But now it's bothering him to where they didn't want to delete anything else. They're saying his body is not cooperating. He is not healing. So I do pray that Tua is going to be healthy for the playoffs if we make it, but hopefully healthy for Sunday. Keep an eye on that. I will be updating everybody as news comes in. As well as Armstead. So we saw Armstead. He got injured. That knee, he is just, again, he's elder. He's brittle. He's old. He has really never been healthy. But again, who knows? Again, I say he's going to retire. But Patrick Paul did come in for Teron Armstead. So he played a healthy game. I'll go over overall snaps. But he did have 22 pass blocking snaps for Patrick Paul. 3 pressures, 1 sack. So we need to do better. Need to do a lot better. If you're causing 3 pressures and a sack on only 22 pass blocking attempts. That's not good. So hopefully Armstead can get healthy. Patrick Paul, hopefully you can get better. Again, remember we're still missing Austin Jackson, so we got Kendall Lamb over there. Hopefully he stays healthy. Um, some good news though, our defensive line, and I mean our DBs too, because we're blitzing safeties and DBs, and we caused 3 intentional grounding. So I don't know if that was just DTR's defense mechanisms just to launch the ball up like he was when he was about to get sacked, but we should have had a lot more sacks, especially I think Sealer was one, Chop was one, I think Agba was the other. But they were sacks, and he just threw the ball away. So I wish those intentional groundings would turn into sacks. That would be a nice change of that stat. Maybe they would stop doing that as much. But there was a interception and a fumble, so our defense played great. I mean, we held them to 3, so we're still looking like that top 5 defense. I'll look to see what we're ranked, but right now we're still top 5 or top 6 at least. So giving up not that many yards. Again, it was what 162 passing yards. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be top 5 in passing defense. But um, with that, I kind of want to talk about one other thing before I switch gears back to playoff mode. Richmond Webb. Unfortunately, he did not make the Hall of Fame finalist. So, Richmond Webb, he is a Hall of Famer in my eyes and my heart, and he got snubbed again and again and again. So, we're not going to give up on you, Richmond. We're going to get you into the Hall of Fame. We just got to see what we got to do. It is hard to get tackled. Hard to get tackles in, because they don't put up stats. But the only stats is not allowing sacks and pancakes. Those are like the best stats you could have. Now we're coming up with PFF stats and run blocking stats and pass blocking stats, and we have a lot more stats. We didn't have those back when he played in the 80s. So 80s, 90s. But Richmond Webb, you are a Hall of Famer. Back to playoff news. Again, we need the Broncos to lose. Who are they facing? The Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs are facing the Broncos at the same time as the Miami Dolphins. So again, I'll be having 2 TVs, same time, watching game by game. But 4:25 kickoffs for both games. Patrick Mahomes is not playing. Let's go Carson Wentz. So my daughter's mother is a Chiefs fan. Maybe I could steal some memorabilia from her and post it up for some good luck. Again, not a Chiefs fan, but this Sunday I will be. With the playoffs, that's what we're down to. No other, I think, scenarios can happen. We need to win. Broncos need to lose. If Broncos lose and we lose, Bengals are in. So those are the only scenarios that I see right now. As far as snap count, let me see. One thing I did want to talk about was offensive line. So let's see here. Okay, and of course, offensive line. They don't even have the one they don't have. Um, Defensive line snap count. So Chop Robinson played 66%. Deshaun Hand played 46%, and Quentin Bell played 32%. Where's Agba on here? Oh, Agba, 78%. Okay, they got him listed as a defensive tackle. To me, he's an edge. He's on the end, but those were some of the snap counts that kind of stand out for me. Some people I didn't even realize. Matt Dickerson actually had 7 snaps on Sunday. Cameron Good, I forgot he's back. He had 6 snaps. Dotson had 79 snaps. He had 100%. He was on the field 100% of the time. Jordan Brooks was on 90%. So Dotson was over him. But I do want to say thank you for everybody who is watching. Keep watching, keep tuning in. Let's go ahead and beat some Jets on Sunday. And as always, thank you and fins up, family.